We're going to go to our last panelist, who is Francie Alexander from Scholastic.
Thank you. Good morning. I know you're going to hear from 20 of us today. I feel like the high school world history teacher who says, drop your pen in this class and you've missed the French Revolution. Well, I don't think that any of us want to miss this next revolution about how we can address the needs that Susan just identified in terms of equalizing educational opportunities. Toward that end, I want to look at the next slide with you and summarize a problem that I think all of the predecessors have spoken about. And that is, there are too many children today who don't read well enough to have all access. You know, when you go backstage, you can go anywhere. Well, they don't have all access to intellectual, political, social, and emotional life. And we did a study with this problem. What does it look like? What are kids and family reading really like? We found out that at the age of 8, high-frequency reading starts to decline. No surprise. I think socially people sort of figure that out. We also found out that kids who have high-frequency reading parents are advantaged. No surprise in that. We found out, and we were happily not surprised, that one book could make a difference. And in this case, the book was Harry Potter. And some kids who'd never written or read a 100-page book before were reading a 700-page book and thought they could do it. One surprise that did come up is kids can't find anything to read. When there's so much out there, I think it's harder to focus, is my hypothesis on that. And another surprising find that probably won't surprise anybody in this room, however, is high-tech users were also the ones still reading. They really didn't cancel each other out, like Hannah Montana. They had the best of both worlds. That's what I think a lot of this conference is about. And that's what I think that we can focus on here. So let's get to the solutions, because I know Michael's got that time clock going. So moving into the solution part of it, our chairman, Dick Robinson, says, you know what we're going to do? We are a reading company. Literacy is our central mission. We're going to meet the kids wherever they are. And we're going to educate them so that they can read, and we're going to engage them so that they will read. And here are some of the things that we're finding that are trends about print that we think are going to make that happen. One is kids are not print or text averse. When I was young, parents said, get off the phone. My own kids have phones appended to their bodies. But now, you don't talk on the phone anymore. That is so not cool. You text. Who knew that human evolution was predictive and the thumb is the most important part of our body? Kids' most favorite in our Upfront magazine for high schoolers, one of their favorite articles was the one in Japan. 5 of the top 10 bestsellers in Japan were written on cell phones. Why my kids can't be productive like that, I do not know. They certainly spend enough time where they should be. But there's a there. So we think part of the solution is more attention to content. They want to be informed. They want to learn things. While we're teaching kids to read, we have to eliminate sort of a false barrier between learning to read and reading to learn. We got to bring it together. The next thing we're finding, reading is becoming more intergenerational. People my age were reading Harry Potter. People all ages were. I belong to Oprah's book club. Every Monday night we're trying to make ourselves better people. The readers of the month vary from like 15 years old to 150, it seems, all with sort of the same goals. Another thing is reading isn't solitary. I think we get this from the other world. It's becoming more social. Social networking is spilling over. Reading is becoming more visual. Comics, graphics are sort of taking over. Reading is being personalized. I just read a book that the pages were marked A and B. You could read all the A's through on the left side, or all the B's on the right side, or you could go A, B, A, B. Kids today want to make their choices about how they're going to read, how they're going to think about reading. One thing that we're all here about, we're finding reading is multimodal, and it's digital, and it's cross-platform. And we're finding, though, we talk about the new, everything old is new again. They still want to read Charlotte's Web. They still want to read Where the Red Fern Grows. They still want strong narrative, and even the games that they play have strong narrative. So what are we following? And for my final slide, we're following a formula that we've learned from many of you. We've worked with Susan Newman. We've worked with Marilyn Adams. We've worked with David Rose. James G. We've worked with this Common Sense Center. All of you have advised us, and we've come up with the 3C squared. We've adopted that from your research. And from that, first of all, compelling content. Our kids, for example, in this election, one of their top issues is conservation, so we're helping them act green. They go to the green room, they read activities, they do something about it. The next of the C's is constant challenge. We are taking and putting technology in service of the most challenged readers in this country. We're introducing System 44, which is for kids in fourth grade through young adults who haven't learned to decode yet. You know how in the Pokemon game, got to have them all. In the phonemes in the English language, you got to get them all if you're going to read. And we use gaming theory to help the kids get them all. We also use adaptive technology in Read 180, constant real-time data collection to put, again, in service of the most challenged readers. In terms of building community, when we launched the book, the Harry Potter series, we launched it with 7 questions so they could start to make predictions about their reading. We just launched Allie Finkel's Rules for Girls. 18,000 kids have posted their rules. Notice I didn't say girls. I think boys have some rules that they want the girls to follow. We'll see how that goes. We have 40,000 kids who joined the Flashlight Readers. The most recent thing that we're going to be launching for kids is going to be in September, and it gets back to our basic mission. We know that we can engage these kids in reading for information and reading for inspiration. We're launching the 39 Clues. We hope you'll join us in just a little snippet you're going to see of that in the next slide. And it's a multi-platform, 10 books, gaming cards. Go to the website to engage in the full reading experience. Can we just run a few seconds? Because I still have a
few. Grace Cahill, a notable philanthropist, cartographer, and eccentric matriarch of the Cahill family, one of the richest and most influential families in the world, has died. Cahill, an aviation pioneer, was known for her map-making expeditions and her charitable contributions. She passed away at her home in Massachusetts this morning at the age of 89.
Cut. To be continued. Cut. That's all they get. So, thank you.